Alrighty, we're going to go and get started with slope formula. Okay, so we talked about slope in class already, which we know is a rate of change. Slope, we also know, is written as the letter m. Okay, that's the variable it is represented by. Okay, some things we know about slope. We've already talked about that slope is equal to the rise over run. Okay, slope is going to be equal to the rise over run. How far up or how low down something goes, how far to the left and how far to the right something goes. All right, I know that rise is going to be my change in y over my change in x, which is that run there. So slope represented by m is rise over run, which is also referred to as change in y over change in x. So our actual slope formula is going to be based on 2 points. I've got x1, y1, and then x2, y2 there. Those are the 2 points that our problems will give us. Our slope formula is going to be shown as m equals, I have the change in y, which is going to be y2 minus y1, all divided by our change in x, which is going to be x2 minus x1. So that is our slope formula. y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. All right, we're going to go ahead and try some practice problems here. Okay, a good note to write down is that we always, and yes, I'm going to write this in caps, always label our points. So you need to always label your points. And I'll show you what that means. Alright, so the directions say find the slope between each pair of points. So number 1, it gives us 1, 1, and 4, 3. So I'm going to label my points just like we have above. I have x1, comma, y1. Then I have x2 and y2 there. Okay, I'm just writing it in the same notation that's given there. All right, now I'm going to plug it into our slope formula. I have m equals, I have y2, which we see is 3 here, minus y1, which it gives us as 1. On bottom, I have x2, which we see there is 4, minus x1, which it gives us as 1. So it says it is important to remember to simplify your answer. So I've got to simplify this fraction that I currently have here. So on top I have 3 minus 1, which is going to give me 2. On bottom I have 4 minus 1, which is going to give me 3. Okay, at this point I can't simplify 2/3 anymore. So that is my answer there. 2/3 is the slope of number 1. Going to go ahead and move on to number 2. Same setup. I'm going to label x1, y1, x2, and y2. Okay, I follow my same exact format. I go m equals, I have y2 minus y1. This time I have a negative 2 there. Minus, all right, my y1 is 4. All over my x2, which is 10. Minus my x1, which is negative 2. Okay, please note that I did put that in parentheses because I have a double negative there. I've got to deal with that. All right. So negative 2 minus 4 gives me a negative 6. Now I've got to rewrite this bottom part. Okay, I have 10 minus a negative 2. Okay. If I go back to my multiplication triangle, multiplication and division, I should say, I have plus, minus, minus. I know this is for multiplication and division. Okay, if I have 2 negatives and I cover that up there, it becomes a positive. So I get 10 minus a negative 2 now changes to 10 plus 2. Okay, that negative times a negative gives me that positive there. So now I have to simplify this further. I get negative 6 all over 10 plus 2, which is 12. Okay. I see that I can divide each of these by 6. So I do divide by 6, divide by 6, and I end up getting my final answer. On top, I have negative 6 divided by 6, which gives me negative 1, and on bottom, I have 12 divided by 6, which is 2. Okay, I cannot simplify negative 1/2, so that is now my answer. All right, so that's number 1 and number 2. Okay, 3 and 4 are very similar to those. I'll let you try those. All right, I'll have my key posted online later. 5 and 6, on the other hand, we are going to go ahead and talk about these. All right, so couple of things to notice. I have a 9 and a 9 there. That's going to be my y2 and my y1. All right, so that's going to be something interesting. If I'm looking at the next problem here, I end up getting a negative 7 and a negative 7. All right, those are in the x place there, so something interesting will happen there as well. All right, but before we get started on those, we're going to go ahead and add a couple more notes out to the side. So if we get 0 in the numerator, okay, if we get 0 in the numerator, that is okay. All right, an example of that is going to be 0 divided by 2 is still going to give me 0. Okay, 0 in the numerator is okay. I'm going to move up a little bit more. 0 in the denominator, 0 in the denominator is no. Okay, 0 in the denominator is no. So, for example, if I have 6 divided by 0, okay, that is actually going to be undefined there. I cannot have something divided by 0. So this kind of goes back to slope dude, okay? I can have that slope of 0, and I can also have a slope of undefined. All right, so we kind of go back to slope dude there. I know that my 0 is 0 fun, means I'm going horizontally there. And then my undefined is where he's going across and he falls all the way down. And so it's the worst curse word in math, which is undefined. So once again, 0 in the numerator is okay. 0 in the denominator is no. So okay means it exists, it's a real thing. No means it's undefined. All right, so let's go and look at number 5. All right, I'm going to follow the same steps I did earlier. x1, y1, x2, y2. So I go ahead and plug in the points given to me. I have y2, which is 9, minus y1, which is 9, all over x2, which is 3, minus x1, which is 5. Okay, so when I'm looking at this, I have 9 minus 9, which gives me that 0, divided by 3 minus 5, which gives me negative 2. Okay, I go and look over here. 0 in the numerator is okay. So I know that 0 divided by 2 was 0, so 0 divided by negative 2 is just going to be 0. So my slope for this problem right here is going to be 0. All right, that is the no fun. He's going horizontal. He's not going down a hill, Mr. Slope Dude. All right, number 6. I label x1, y1, x2, y2. All right, I have m equals, I plug in my y2, which it gives me as 5. I have minus y1, which is 8, all over negative 7 minus a negative 7 there. And remember, we put that in parentheses because we've got to deal with that double negative. So similar to earlier, okay, I'm just going to keep solving these down. I'll have to figure out this one at the bottom here in just a second. So on top, I have 5 minus 8, which is going to give me negative 3. Then, similar like I said as earlier, I cover up my negative times a negative, which gives me a positive there. So a negative times a negative gives me that positive. So I rewrite this. I get negative 7 plus 7. All right. Negative times a negative gives me that positive 7. So I got to keep simplifying this further. I get negative 3 divided by, I have negative 7 plus 7, which is going to give me 0. So I get negative 3 divided by 0. If I go back and look at my notes over here, 0 in the denominator is no. Example, 6 divided by 0 is undefined. Here I have negative 3 divided by 0. So I'm going to be in a similar situation. So this is going to be undefined. This is slope dude falling down the hill. All right. So you have 4 different examples here. All right. You have a positive slope, okay, where he's going up the hill, puff, puff, positive. You have a negative slope right here, negative 1/2. All right. You have a 0 slope where slope dude's going across, no fun. And you also have an undefined slope where he is falling down. All right, and he's saying the worst curse word ever. So just to kind of recap everything. So slope is, the variable is m. I know it's rise over run, which is the same thing as change in y over change in x. Change in y is the same thing as y2 minus y1. Change in x is the same thing as x2 minus x1. So this is our slope formula that we're going to be using going forward when we're given 2 points, just like all these examples here are. So a couple things to remember, you're always going to label your points, x1, y1, x2, y2. We do this so you don't confuse them when you're plugging it into the formula. It's better to be safe than sorry on that, guys. Always label your points. All right, and then just to recap this, 0 in the numerator is okay. All right, that's for the example of 0 over 2 equals 0, or 0 over negative 2 gives me 0. 0 in the denominator is no, because it is not okay. 6 divided by 0 is undefined, just like negative 3 divided by 0 is undefined. All right, so go ahead and try these other problems. You have 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, go ahead and try those for me. Let's see if we can get the correct answer on those.